Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. My name's William. This is a Setta Corsa Competizione, and today I'm going to be driving the Audi R8 LMS GT4, giving you kind of my initial impressions of the car as I run off the track there. My initial impressions of the car, um, a hot lap of it so you can kind of get an idea of the way the car sounds, looks, all that kind of stuff, and then talking over what you can adjust in the setup menu for the car, as well as a little bit more feedback on just the way it drives and everything. So that's what I've got coming up for you guys. I'll just initially talk about the R8 real quick. It's uh, it's definitely a really good sounding car. Kind of expect that with a big old V10 in it. It feels very nimble compared to something like the Aston. It definitely does feel like a proper sports car. The gearing is also very nice for some of these like Grand Prix tracks. Um, it feels like you've got a gear, the right gear to be in. That's something to really. It's a lot something people don't really consider, but it can be a huge difference track to track, with just with the if a gearing fits one track better than the other. So the gearing feels very nice. It feels like it'll fit a lot of circuits, but the ABS on this car um, really does hold it back, in my opinion. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later as I kind of go over what you can adjust, but we'll go ahead and get on into the hot lap now. You can enjoy the way this car sounds and kind of get an idea of the way it looks and everything, and then go over all the everything you can adjust in the car as far as the setup menus go. So on to the hot lap. Enjoy. Alright, so that was a hot lap in the Audi R8 LMS GT4. You can see the time there if you're watching all the other videos and kind of compare just rough comparison between the cars. Um, it's set it's invalid laps to start with, and I guess I'll go ahead and get into that before we take a look at the setup with my initial kind of thoughts on the car. Um, it sounds great still. I kind of expected that with it being an R8 and everything. Really good um, response from the wheel, really good feedback. Feels incredibly nimble. Um, Still understeers. It's not an aero monster or anything like that, and pretty darn quick in the straights as well. With the aggressive preset anyways. Obviously, comparing drag levels and everything on cars with different wing settings and everything, who knows? But pretty darn quick on the straightaways, getting about 3 mile an hour faster, I think, than some of the other cars at a couple points. Um, However, let's go ahead and take a look at the setup because this is the thing that I dislike the most. So just over the adjustability here, you can adjust everything on here. Um, don't have to worry about that too much. But here is my rub with the car. So this TC is fine, I guess. You don't really have a whole lot of adjustability, but you know, off 1, 2, 3. So it's running on 1, but this ABS, it's either off or on. Look, it's not ideal in my mind. You 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 have no ECU maps or anything like that, and uh, it's just with the ABS on, it feels very conservative. Really likes to intervene, and at least in a Assetto Corsa Competizione compared to iRacing, um, you can lean into the ABS, but especially on when the tires are still colder, coming up to pressure, coming up to temperature and everything, it's a real struggle getting this car stopped compared to the other cars I've driven so far. So that's a big negative for me, and it's kind of a shame that an electronic element like that um, kind of really takes the fun away from the car, in my opinion. Uh, and I would say you could just drive it with the ABS off, but that's really tricky for a lot of people, and getting that down exactly. I'm sure there's some things in the setup that can be done to to get the ABS to kick in less often, and keeping the brakes as warm or in their good operating zone anyways will probably make a big difference as well. But we'll go through the rest of the stuff here that you can adjust. Um, the anti-roll bar adjustments, you have them on the front, 1 and 2, and then 0. No adjustment on the rear for the anti-roll bar. Normal adjustment range compared to the other GT4s for the, except for the Janetta so far, for the preload on the differential. Um, Really just two different wheel rates, um, for the front and for the rear. No adjustable bump stop ranges, and you can adjust the bump stop rates. Um, let's see. And yeah, you can just see here the 63% brake bias. This is a mid-engine car. That seems like quite a bit towards the front, in my opinion. So there's probably something there. It's pretty typical for the setups anyways, but um, no adjustable fast bump, fast rebound. So um, it's pretty typical. And then the ride height, not as much adjustment, I don't think, but you definitely can still take pretty big swings at it. No adjustable splitter, and only 4 settings for the wing, um, but pretty typical. And yeah, adjustable brake ducts, thankfully. So if you are going to be driving this car, I think the thing that's going to be most important is making sure that your brakes are staying in a good operating range, and do not be put off if you drive this car immediately, like your first couple laps, and just feel like it feels terrible on the brakes. It is. It is terrible on the brakes, but just, you know, get your brakes up to temperature, get your tires up to temperature, and then really evaluate the car, and see how it is after doing that. It, like I said, it's unfortunate that ABS setting, just electronic aid like that, for me, kind of really, ultimately, I think I would really like this car, but just that one thing is kind of holding it back, in my opinion. So. Um, Still a lot of fun to drive. Still felt very quick once everything was kind of up to temperature, and I kind of got used to um, not being able to uh, be so crazy in the braking zones as I kind of get in some of the other cars. But uh, anyways, yeah, that's the Audi R8. Um, I think it's pretty fun. I think I can figure out the ABS, and still get a lot out of the car. It is going to be a little bit trickier compared to the others. So um, definitely give it a shot, and don't judge it. Don't judge it off of your first couple laps, in my opinion. So give it a shot, and and see how it is after you put in a little bit of a run. So we'll be back with another car before too long. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching, and bye bye.